A 155mm howitzer bolted to the back of a six-wheeled truck. No turret, no tracks, no armour. The crew stands in the open air to load every round by hand. For 20 years, NATO dismissed it as a gimmick, a French publicity stunt that would never survive a real war. Then Russia invaded Ukraine, and that unprotected truck became the most requested artillery system in Europe. It weighs 17.7 tons. That is roughly one-third the weight of a German Howitzer 2000. The barrel is 5 decades of French ordnance engineering compressed into a single tube, a 52 caliber cannon capable of sending a high explosive shell more than 40 kilometers downrange. The chassis beneath it is a Renault Sherpa 5, a military truck originally designed to haul cargo and supplies, not to fire NATO standard ammunition. There is a hydraulic jack system at the rear that drops 2 stabilizer legs into the ground before firing. There is a small armoured cab at the front that fits 3 crew members, and bolted between those 2 extremes sits one of the most effective artillery pieces of the 21st century. It has fought in the mountains of Afghanistan, the deserts of Mali, the rubble of Mosul, and the frozen plains of eastern Ukraine. It has been ordered by France, Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, Thailand, Denmark, the Czech Republic, Belgium, Lithuania, Estonia, Croatia, Armenia, Morocco, Slovenia, and Ukraine. Over 650 units have been produced or ordered worldwide since 2006. Its name is Caesar. Camion équipé d'un système d'artillerie, a French truck with a gun that changed how NATO thinks about artillery forever. The factory that built it sits in Roanne, a quiet industrial city in central France, roughly 70 kilometers west of Lyon, and the story of this weapon does not begin with a military requirement. It begins with a company trying to survive. In the early 1990s, the Cold War had just ended. Defense budgets across Europe were collapsing. GIAT Industries, France's state-owned weapons manufacturer, faced a crisis. Production of the AUF-1 tracked self-propelled howitzer was winding down. Orders for the TRF-1 towed gun were drying up. The French Ministry of Defense had no funded requirement for a new artillery system. GIAT needed a product it could export, something affordable, something no other European company was building. The engineers in Roanne looked at the problem and arrived at a radical conclusion. Instead of building another heavy-tracked gun, they would bolt a 155mm barrel onto a standard truck chassis and sell it to armies that could not afford 40-ton self-propelled guns. The logic was brutal in its simplicity. A tracked self-propelled howitzer like the Panzerhaubitze 2000 cost millions of euros per unit, required a dedicated logistics chain, consumed enormous quantities of fuel, and needed specialized maintenance crews trained on complex automated loading systems. A truck-mounted gun could use commercial spare parts, drive on any road at highway speed, fit inside a C-130 Hercules transport aircraft, with its crew and 18 rounds of ammunition, and cost a fraction of the price. The trade-off was obvious: no armour, no automated loader, no protection for the crew during firing. But GIAT believed the gun's speed would be its armour. Fire, move, disappear before the enemy can respond. Working with Law Industry, which supplied the cab and truck interface, GIAT built the first prototype in under a year. They mounted the 52 caliber barrel onto a modified Mercedes-Benz Unimog U 24506x6 chassis. The demonstrator appeared publicly at Eurosatory in June 1994. Military observers from across NATO examined it. Most were polite. Few were impressed. The criticism was immediate and persistent. A truck cannot absorb the recoil forces of sustained firing the way a tracked chassis can. The crew is exposed to shrapnel, small arms fire, and chemical threats during loading. 18 rounds is not enough for a sustained fire mission. The vehicle has no cross-country capability in the worst terrain. One senior British artillery officer reportedly dismissed the concept with 3 words: trucks are targets. But France pressed ahead. The French Defense Procurement Agency ordered 5 prototypes for evaluation in September 2000. Those 5 guns were delivered in June 2003, and an experimental artillery section spent the next year developing doctrine. The results convinced the French army. In December 2004, the DGA signed a €300 million contract for 72 production Caesars, now built on a purpose-designed Renault trucks, Defense Sherpa, 5 chassis, instead of the Unimog. The first series production gun reached the French army in July 2008. To understand why this vehicle matters, you need to understand what it can actually do. The Caesar mounts a 52 caliber 155mm barrel, descended from the same ordnance lineage as the AUF-1 and the TRF-1. It fires 6 rounds per minute. It can put 3 rounds in the air in 18 seconds. Maximum range with standard extended range, full bore base, bleed ammunition, exceeds 40 kilometres. With rocket-assisted or precision-guided munitions like Excalibur, range extends beyond 50 kilometres. The gun can go from road march to first round, fired in approximately 60 seconds. After the last round, the crew retracts the stabilizer jacks, climbs back into the cab and drives away. Total displacement time is roughly 40 seconds. That entire sequence, arrive, fire, leave, takes under 5 minutes. This is the shoot and scoot principle, and it is the Caesar's entire philosophy of survival. Counter-battery radar needs time to calculate an incoming shell's origin point. Counter-battery fire needs time to travel to that location. If the gun is already gone before the retaliatory shells arrive, armour becomes irrelevant. Speed replaces steel. The barrel elevation reaches 66 degrees for indirect fire. Traverse covers 17 degrees left and right. The onboard Sigma 30 inertial navigation system provides positioning without reliance on satellite signals, a critical capability when GPS jamming is present. The fire control computer calculates ballistic solutions automatically. A muzzle velocity radar fine-tunes accuracy across the barrel's lifespan as wear accumulates, but the numbers that NATO officers kept returning to were the ones that concerned them most. 18 rounds on board, 5 crew members standing in the open to reload. No collective nuclear, biological or chemical protection. Against a peer adversary with counter-battery capability, cluster munitions and air power. Those numbers looked like a death sentence. Before we cover where this truck actually proved them wrong, if you're enjoying this deep dive into military history, hit subscribe. It takes a second, and it helps the channel grow. The first shots fired in anger from a Caesar landed in Afghanistan. In the summer of 2009, 8 Caesars deployed to Kapisa province with the 3rd Marine Artillery Regiment as part of Task Force Lafayette, commanded by General Jean-Pierre Palasset. French gunners established fire bases at forward operating bases Tora, Tagab, and Nijrab in the volatile Tagab Valley. The terrain was mountainous. The roads were narrow, often little more than goat tracks carved into hillsides, and the ability to drive a gun into position on a truck rather than wait for a heavy tracked vehicle to be transported by low loader proved decisive. When Taliban positions appeared on ridgelines above French patrols, Caesar crews responded in minutes. The truck could reach firing positions that a 55-ton tracked howitzer would never have attempted. One gun could be repositioned between 2 forward operating bases in the same day, something impossible with a tracked platform on those roads. The experience was important enough to prompt the development of an add-on armoured cab to protect crews from small arms fire and shell fragments during transit. Afghanistan proved the concept. The truck could fight. Mali came next. In January 2013, Operation Serval launched to prevent Islamist militants from capturing Bamako. The French military needed to move fast across enormous distances. Northern Mali is roughly the size of France itself, and the militant groups controlling it had seized territory from Timbuktu to Gao to Kidal. 4 Caesars deployed with the 68th Artillery Regiment of Africa, providing fire support during the rapid advance north and the grinding close combat in the Adrar des Ifagas mountain range. The conditions were extreme. Temperatures exceeded 50 degrees Celsius, sand infiltrated every mechanical component, supply lines stretched across hundreds of kilometers of open desert, but the Caesar's truck-based design meant repairs could be conducted with standard tools and commercial truck parts available in theatre. A broken axle or a failed hydraulic pump did not require a specialist team flown in from France. It required a mechanic with a toolkit. The guns kept firing. Operation Serval transitioned into Operation Barkhane, and Caesars remained in the Sahel for years afterward. Then came Iraq and Syria. France established Task Force Wagram, named after Napoleon's 1809 artillery victory, to support the campaign against ISIS. Built around elements of the 68th Regiment and other units, the task force deployed Caesars to Firebase Saham on the Iraqi-Syrian border alongside American M777s and Iraqi M109 Paladins. Over 1,100 French soldiers rotated through Task Force Wagram across multiple deployments. From late 2016 through early 2019, French Caesars provided fire support for the recapture of Mosul and the final destruction of the ISIS enclave at Baghuz. Over 4 months at Baghuz alone, the guns of Task Force Wagram fired approximately 3,500 rounds. French officers praised the combination of range, accuracy and mobility in an environment where the fighting was, as one captain described it, in the midst of the people. Every round needed to land precisely. The Caesar delivered. The commander of that task force was Colonel François-Régis Legrier. In February 2019, Legrier published an article in the Revue Défense Nationale that questioned the entire Western approach to the campaign. He argued that the coalition's reliance on massed artillery and airstrikes rather than ground troops had destroyed Baghuz, but failed to achieve a lasting result. The article was pulled from the publication's website. The French army announced that disciplinary action was being considered. Le Grier had done something unusual for a serving colonel. He had told the truth about the limits of firepower, even when that firepower came from his own guns. But none of those deployments prepared the world for what happened in 2022. On February 24, 2022, Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Within weeks, it became clear that Ukraine needed artillery capable of striking Russian positions at long range and surviving the Russian counter-battery response. On April 22, President Emmanuel Macron announced that France would provide 12 Caesars to Ukraine, along with training for approximately 40 Ukrainian personnel in France. By late May, the 55th Artillery Brigade had Caesars at the front. Commander-in-Chief Valery Zaluzhny confirmed their deployment on May 25. The first combat footage showed a Caesar crew arriving at a firing position, dropping the stabilizer jacks, firing 5 rounds in 55 seconds, retracting the jacks and driving away. The entire engagement lasted under 4 minutes. Ukrainian gunners wrote messages on the shells. One read, "For Mariupol, the results were immediate. Ukrainian crews reported confirmed kills on Russian self-propelled guns, armoured vehicles, ammunition depots, and command posts at ranges exceeding 22 kilometres with standard ammunition, and considerably farther with extended range rounds." The 47th Artillery Brigade used a Caesar to destroy a Russian M27 Uragan multiple launch rocket system. Around Avdiivka, crews fired M864 cluster shells to break up massed Russian infantry assaults. The Caesar's shoot and scoot capability proved devastating against Russian counter-battery radar. A Ukrainian gunner from the 55th Brigade described the sequence to Radio Free Europe. "Take a firing position and open fire within less than a minute. Firing at the target and leaving the position takes 3 to 5 minutes. By the time Russian retaliatory fire arrived at the Caesar's firing position, the truck was already kilometers away. The gun was integrated with Ukrainian drone teams and COBRA counter-battery radar, creating a kill chain that could identify a Russian target, calculate a firing solution, fire, and displace in under 5 minutes. Denmark donated all 19 of its Caesar 8x8 variants in early 2023. France sent additional batches throughout 2022. And 2023. By October 2025, 120 Caesar systems were operating on the Ukrainian front line. The losses were remarkably low. After nearly 3 years of continuous high-intensity combat, approximately 7 to 10 Caesars had been confirmed destroyed, roughly 10% of the fleet. Several were hit by Russian Lancet loitering munitions. One incident in Zaporizhia in June 2023 was captured on video. A Caesar driver spotted an incoming Lancet and swerved to avoid it, flipping the truck onto its side. A second Lancet struck the overturned vehicle and destroyed it. That footage went viral, but it also demonstrated something important. Even against the weapon specifically designed to kill it, the Caesar's mobility gave its crew a chance to react. The critical comparison came from a French National Assembly report filed in April 2025. Rapporteurs Mathieu Bloch and Jean-Louis Thierriot conducted a 5-month investigation with 17 hearings and 5 field trips including Ukraine. Their findings were stark. After 5 months of intensive use, Caesar availability remained above 60%. The German Howitzer 2000 had dropped to 32%. The Swedish Archer had dropped to 38%. The Caesar's simpler design, its robust screw breech mechanism, and its reliance on proven mechanical systems rather than sensitive automated electronics gave it a maintenance advantage that no amount of armour could match. Ukrainian crews praised the accuracy, rate of fire and mobility. They also criticised the delicate electronics that could be disabled by mud and required careful handling. They noted that the 8x8 fleet had fired over 40,000 rounds in 2 years, an average of approximately 2,100 rounds per gun, which accelerated barrel wear far beyond peacetime projections. But the guns kept working, the barrels could be replaced, the truck kept driving. Now compare the Caesar directly against its rivals. The Howitzer 2000 carries 60 rounds, more than 3 times the Caesar's 18. Its automated loader means the crew never leaves the vehicle. It fires up to 10 rounds per minute with a burst capability that briefly exceeds anything the Caesar can achieve. On paper, it is a superior system in every measurable category except 3: weight, cost, and reliability. The Howitzer 2000 weighs 55.8 tons. It requires specialized heavy transport to move by road and cannot fit inside a C-130 transport aircraft. Its automated loading system, while devastating in short engagements, proved sensitive to the sustained high-volume firing that Ukraine demanded. Barrels wore out, electronics failed. Replacement parts required a dedicated logistics chain stretching back to Germany. The South Korean K9 Thunder falls between the two. At 47 to 48 tons, it carries 48 rounds and fires 6 or more rounds per minute. It has been ordered by multiple NATO members and performs well, but it shares the tracked platform's fundamental limitation. It is heavy, expensive to maintain, and difficult to deploy rapidly by air. The Swedish Archer offers an interesting middle ground. It is wheeled, like the Caesar, and fully automated, unlike the Caesar. Its crew never leaves the cab, but at over 30 tons, it is nearly twice the Caesar's weight. Its automated systems proved sensitive in Ukraine, and its availability dropped to 38% after 5 months. The Caesar sacrifices firepower for something that turned out to matter more. It sacrifices onboard ammunition for speed. It sacrifices crew protection for strategic mobility. It sacrifices automation for mechanical reliability. And in the defining artillery war of the 21st century, those trade-offs proved correct. The export record tells the story. Before Ukraine, Caesar was a respectable but niche product. After Ukraine, it became the centerpiece of European rearmament. Belgium ordered 28 of the new Mark II variant. Lithuania ordered up to 48. Estonia ordered 24. Croatia signed for 18. Armenia ordered 36, Slovenia ordered 12, the Czech Republic ordered 62 of the 8x8 variant with local assembly. France itself ordered 109 Mark II guns for delivery beginning in 2026. KNDS France, the manufacturer, ramped production from 2 units per month before the invasion to 6 per month by 2024. With a target of 12 per month by 2026. Production cycle time was cut from 30 months to 15. The workforce at Roanne roughly doubled, from 850 in 2019 to approximately 1,550 by 2024. On November 28, 2025, the factory rolled out its 450th Caesar Mark I and its 100th Caesar Mark I Octave variant. The company's order backlog swelled from €23.5 billion to €33.1 billion. France pledged its entire 2025 production run to Ukraine and financed 12 additional units using €300 million in frozen Russian asset proceeds. KNDS was even positioning the Caesar for the United States Army's mobile howitzer requirements, arguing that 3 years of combat data from Ukraine gave it an unmatched advantage over any competitor. A French truck with a gun had become the fastest-growing artillery program in Europe. The Mark II addresses the original Caesar's most obvious weaknesses. It mounts on a new Arquus 6x6 chassis with a 460 horsepower engine and automatic gearbox, more than doubling the original's 215 horsepower. The crew cab meets armour protection level 2. Navigation uses a Safran Geonyx inertial system that operates without satellite signals. Fire control integrates with the French Scorpion networked battlefield system. Electronic countermeasures include the Eclipse jammer to disrupt incoming drone guidance. Weight rises to approximately 26 tons, but the vehicle remains transportable by a 400M Atlas aircraft. The Caesar is not invincible. It never was. 18 rounds is still not enough for sustained fire missions. The crew is still exposed during loading, standing in the open air with no overhead protection while handling 43-kilogram shells. Lancet drones have proven they can kill it. The electronics are sensitive to field conditions, requiring what Ukrainian crews described as surgical gloves to maintain in mud. Barrel wear under extreme use rates demands an industrial capacity to manufacture replacement tubes faster than crews can destroy them. In a sustained close-range fight against massed armour, a tracked gun with 60 rounds and an armoured turret would be the better tool. No serious analyst disputes that. But here is what every NATO officer who dismissed that truck in the 1990s failed to understand. In a war defined by counter-battery radar, loitering munitions and satellite surveillance, the most dangerous place for an artillery piece is standing still. The heaviest armour in the world cannot protect a gun that has already been located. The largest ammunition supply is worthless if the vehicle carrying it is too broken to fire. The most automated loader means nothing if the electronics controlling it fail in the mud. A 155mm howitzer bolted to the back of a truck. No turret, no tracks. 17.7 tons of French engineering that arrived in Ukraine with a reputation as a lightweight, and left as the most proven artillery system of the war. The Critic said trucks are targets. They were right. Every artillery piece is a target. The Caesar just refused to stay in one place long enough to become one. That is not armour. That is not luck. That is 20 years of a dismissed idea proving that the fastest gun on the battlefield is the one that survives.